Ryan Richardson, you won the giveaway from last week. Congratulations, comic fam. We're talking about the hottest comics in the multiverse.
Speaking of multiverse, Tom, I have not seen the Spider-Man No Way Home teaser, leaked trailer, so no spoilers.
No spoilers here, but what's going on? Sony is pissed. We have leaks happening with Spider-Man No Way Home. We have Silver Age Spidey making our list today. We're talking about the hottest comics in the world. The key collector Hot 10, the movers and shakers, the record breakers, the biggest sales in the comic book marketplace. Hit the subscribe button, slap the like button, say hi to Jem Min over on his channel. Let's start him off with number 10 on the list. We're talking Tomb of Dracula. We're talking issue number 10. We're talking Blade.
That's right, guys. The MCU is running this list. We have the Blade movie in development. We know the antagonists are rumored to be Dracula and Werewolf by Night, and this book is still climbing, still breaking records, and we're going to start by taking a look at a CGC 5.5. Now, this book sold for $1,526 back in August, and now with an 8% increase, selling for $1,645.
We have two 8.0 sales to report on this week, starting with a record that was set back in June for $2,328 to be outdone with sale number 1 at $2,600, and then a second sale up 25%, approaching the 3K marker, selling for $2,915. I'll remind the community about our reporting about the 9.6 sale that was outdone by a 12% increase months ago, landing at $15,500, that was bound to affect subsequent grades.
Yeah, that's right, because now here we are with a 9.4 sale. Now, back in June, this book sold for $5,859, and now we have a new record-breaking sale. It's up 13%, selling for $6,600.
Looking at the list at number 9, we're talking Journey into Mystery 83, the first appearance and origin of the God of Thunder, Thor.
Yeah, there's a little movie called Thor, Love and Thunder in production that's causing renewed interest in this blue chip Marvel key. We're going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to take a look at 3 record-breaking sales, 3 different grades, but let's kind of see how we got here first. We're going to start with looking at this 1.8. In 2011, the average price for this book was just $800. Flash forward to 2017, you're looking at about $2,100. Then between 2018 and 2020, you had an average sale price of $2,900. In 2021, we had 4 different sales averaging $5,000. The highest being back in June at $5,160, and now, August of 2021, up 12% with this record-breaking sale of $5,760.
Then you go up a couple grade points up at the 3.0. Back in 2011, selling for $1,500 on average. 2017's average was $3,300. Fast forward to 2018 to 2020, an average of $4,200. And then with that blue chip effect in full gear, 2021 had 2 sales averaging $10,300. But why are we here this week? Well, the high record sale was $10,180 to be outdone with a 3% increase, now with an all-new record at $10,500.
And then moving on to the 6.5. In 2011, this book averaged $4,700. In 2017, $9,400. Between 2018 and 2020, $15,000. Then in 2021, based on the average of 5 sales, an average price of $30,500. Now, in July, this book sold for a clean $30K. It's up now 33% with an all-new high sale of $40,000.
$40K. Comic fam, what do you think about these crazy price hikes? And while you're thinking about it, let's move over to number 8 on the list, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 16. We've had a bunch of conversations about these monumental events that take place throughout the Silver Age, the first meetup of heroes, and we're talking about the first meeting of Spider-Man, our web slinger, and the Daredevil.
Yeah, that's right. ASM 16, the first meeting of Spider-Man and Daredevil. A lot of rumors that Matt Murdock's going to be introduced into the MCU, maybe defending Peter Parker since he was doxxed and also accused for murdering Mysterio. It's yet to be seen, but we got record-breaking sales to report on. A CGC 2.5 sold for $290 back in April. It's up 14%, now selling for $330.
We haven't seen Daredevil, Foggy Nelson, or Karen Page since October 2018. The 4.5 record was set back in April, selling for $510 to be outdone. An uptick of 20%, now selling for $610 this week. The 9.0 could have been secured back in 2019 for $2,844, and that's up 23%, selling for $3,500 this week. At number 7, we're talking Black Panther, potentially the next Black Panther. We're talking issue number 2, the first appearance of Shooty.
Man, we haven't talked about this book in a while. It was hitting the list almost every week when we first started doing these videos. Yeah, fans are wondering who could potentially play the next Black Panther, and we're looking to the comics as the source material to figure out who that could be. We have a CGC 9.6 newsstand edition, which sold for $995 in May, up 63%, now selling for $1,625.
And you know, if it made the list, there are more record breakers to report on. We have a 9.4 hitting $350 back in August 2020, a year ago, and that's up 7%, selling for $375 this week. But then we had a new 9.8 record breaker.
Yeah, the 9.8 sold for $900 back in August. It's only up 2%, selling for $915, but it's nice to see that it's holding that value.
Something to consider is that CGC, although does notate many comics that are newsstands and separates them out on the census, there are a handful of modern keys that do not get the same treatment, this book being one of them. How scarce does that make this book? Well, extremely when you consider how many were ordered by retailers. If we go by Comicron's estimate, we have a total of 474 comics that were ordered by retailers back at release. And this was at a time where we have approximately 2% of the total print run being newsstand copies. That means that there's an estimate of 950 total newsstand copies of the first appearance of Shooty in existence if we go by these estimations. That means that this 9.6 record breaker matters, especially when you consider that it was the same book that sold back in May, setting that prior record. This is a ghost.
So whoever bought that book in May made a $630 profit in just 4 months.
Imagine when a 9.8 comes to market. If there is one in existence, let's take a look at number 6 on the list. We're talking about the Warlock. We're talking about him. We're talking about Fantastic Four, issue number 67. A 5.5, selling for $371 back in July, up 12%. Now selling for $415. The 8.5 in July, selling for $1,235, up 5%. Now selling for $1,300. Jem, do you think it's the 9.8 record leader, or do you think it's just James Gunn getting more and more favorable after the Suicide Squad hit that's making his books rise?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that the Suicide Squad was so well received by fans, and the fact that that 9.8 pedigree sold for $25 grand. We got a CGC 9.2, which sold for $1,900 back in July, up 58%, now selling for $3,000.
Comic fam, utilize that code Tom101 on the best comic app in existence, available for both Androids and iPhones. You support what we do, but you unlock full access to all of this valuable information that we utilize to cover all these comic books, but also so you can categorize your comic books, get approximate suggested pricing, unlock multiple categories that's going to add to your investment plan as it pertains to your buying power in the comic book marketplace. Let's take a look at number 5, because we have more X-Men monumental moments being spec'd upon, being purchased, and selling for 9.8 grades.
That's right, we're talking Uncanny X-Men 101, Jean Grey becoming the Phoenix, who 10 years later would be described as a new cosmic entity. We got a CGC 4.0 that sold for $370 back in April, up 39%, now selling for $550. The 5.5, this book sold for $495 back in April as well, and it's up 1%, selling now for $500.
This is why you got to hit that subscribe button, comic fam, because not every auction sites maintain their historical record of sales. And we're reporting on stuff that gets scrubbed from the internet. There was a Comic Link sale of a 9.8 back in May that hit $13,259. And when a sale on eBay for a 9.8 hit $6,100 that same week, it made that high sale a real head scratcher. Well, we have a 9.8 sale this week that's getting us closer to that peak, but it isn't there yet, especially considering that that was a $7,000 difference. The prior sale outside of that Comic Link sale was set in 2018 for $6,100, as mentioned. That was outdone with a 48% increase, a new high sale of $9,000 this week.
Still $4,000 shy of that Comic Link sale, but hey, we're getting closer.
And now at the list at number 4, Amazing Spider-Man 124, the first appearance of Man-Wolf, the son of J. Jonah Jameson, who discovered an amulet that turns him into a werewolf, the Man-Wolf.
That's right, we're talking Amazing Spider-Man 124, and it seems like collectors have werewolves on the brain, whether it's Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, Blade, and now Morbius. But it makes a little bit of sense when you consider the fact that Tyrese Gibson has signed a 3-picture deal with Sony, and he's scheduled to play Agent Stroud. Now, this character hunted Man-Wolf in comics, and since we have Tyrese attached to that, there's a good chance he could be connected to Man-Wolf. We got the CGC 6.5, which sold for just $200 back in March, up 80%, now selling for $360.
This 7.5 was going for $373 back in May, up 20%, now selling for $450 this week.
And then the 8.5. This is a book that sold for just $782 back in June. Here we are in late August, up 79%, now selling for $1,400.
Now at the list at number 3, a major moment for our Hot 10 for the first time ever. Amazing Spider-Man 23 making our list. The third appearance of the Green Goblin being a hot book solely because it is a third appearance. This is crazy stuff, but when you look at the first and second appearance, it makes more sense why people are starting to spec on this book over others. We have Amazing Spider-Man 14 not only doubling in price, but tripling in the last 12 months. ASM 17, the second appearance, has doubled over the last 12 months, only giving it more reason why members are after the third appearance.
Man, that's crazy, the third appearance. A CGC 6.0 sold for $410 back in May. It's up 2%, holding that value with its new sale of $420. The 7.0, however, sold for $360 back in April, and that's up 53% with this new sale of $550. But that's not all. The CGC 8.0, which sold for $606 back in June, is up now 64% with its all-new high of $995. Now, what's funny is that it's the third appearance of Green Goblin, and Norman Osborn is even teased in this issue, but it wouldn't be revealed that Norman is actually Green Goblin until Amazing Spider-Man 39. We might have to keep an eye on that one to be the next Green Goblin key to bubble up.
At the list in number 2, we're talking Fantastic Four, issue number 4. The first appearance of the first anti-hero in the Silver Age. We're talking Submariner. We're talking about the first time Johnny Storm utters the words "flame on" to ignite his powers. This book has been hot for quite some time, mostly because of Black Panther 2 spec. Will it be Doctor Doom? Will it be Submariner? The numbers are showing that the community feels like it is the anti-hero.
All right, guys, a little bit different for us, but we're going to talk about a low-grade raw copy. Now, back in September, this book averaged about $800, but we have a 49% increase with this new record-breaking sale of $1,195.
But now we look at some graded copies. A 1.5 back in February could have been secured for $1,500. That's up a staggering 73% this week, selling for an all-new high of $2,600.
And then they really turned the flame on this 4.0. This book sold for $4,900 back in June. It's up now 24%, selling for $6,100.
Comic Fam, hit the description, join the mystery mail call, support the show, get comics from us. Every single member will be receiving a Trial of Magneto Raph Grassetti variant. And for the first time ever, we've teamed up with Whatnot Comics so that we can actually release virgin copies for the first time ever of a Marvel exclusive going out at random. ComicTom101.com to join the community, support what we do, and let's chat about the #1 hottest book in the world.
That's right, we're talking Strange Tales 126, the first appearance of Dormammu, the first appearance of Clea. Now, this book made number 3 on last week's Hot 10 list, so it's moving up in the ranks. And I don't think it has to do with Dormammu. He's been there, done that. I think it's all about Clea.
We have a CGC 4.5 that this month sold for $276 to have an uptick weeks later of 29% for a CBCS. We have a new high of $355 this week.
Which is especially interesting because we typically see a 15% or more decrease comparing CBCS to CGC. The 5.0, this book sold for $400 back in June. It's up now 50%, selling for $600.
I'll remind the community about the 8.5 record we reported on, an uptick of 69% selling for $1,350 that has boosted the sales this week for all of these lower grades, making this 6.0 make more sense. Prior record being back in May, hitting $420, up 26%, selling for $530 this week.
If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and notifications on so you don't miss any.
I want to hear the community's thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this list? Do you own any of these books? Do any of these comics make you want to spec on anything else? Help your fellow community members that'll enter you to win a TMNT109 John Boy Myers sketch variant. We appreciate your time today. And as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Comic fam, make sure to check out the last podcast with Nick from Key Collector Comics and keep up on the honorable mentions video, single price record breakers, the comics that didn't quite sell enough to make our hot 10, but comic book records that you gotta know. Have a great week.